There is only one victim, and it isn't you. The hum is never the problem. At first, it always feels like the problem. Too loud, too constant, too intrusive, something external that needs to be fixed, silenced, negotiated with, or destroyed. That reaction comes first almost every time. In one environment, it's a machine that runs all night. In another, it's 35 bodies breathing, snoring, coughing, talking, crying, shifting in the dark. Different settings, same reflex. Make it stop. That impulse reveals everything. Because what's actually being resisted isn't the sound. It's the loss of authorship. The mind wants to believe it is at the mercy of conditions. Noise becomes oppression. Environment becomes enemy. Circumstance becomes cause. And that belief feels justified because it feels personal. But the hum does something quietly devastating. It doesn't respond. It doesn't argue. It doesn't adjust. It doesn't explain itself. It runs. And over time, something strange happens. The sound doesn't change. The reaction does. What once felt unbearable becomes neutral, not pleasant, not spiritual, just no longer meaningful. That shift isn't adaptation, it's reorientation. The same thing happens anywhere resistance exhausts itself. In shared rooms, in confined spaces, in relationships, in bodies, in time. The attempt to control the environment eventually collapses under its own weight, because controlling everything outside to secure peace inside is impossible. That impossibility matters. If the world were truly the cause of suffering, survival would be unthinkable. No one could carry the combined weight of weather, people, history, biology, and time pressing against them every moment of the day. Yet people do carry it. That alone tells the truth. What is being carried is not the world. It's interpretation. This is where lesson 31 cuts deeper than it appears at first glance. I am not the victim of the world I see. Not a victim. The victim. That distinction isn't stylistic. It's surgical. If there were many victims, victimhood could be personal, comparative, negotiable. But the Course doesn't grant that premise. In a universe of one mind, victimhood cannot be divided. If someone believes they are a victim, they must be the victim, the central reference point around which blame, injustice, and grievance orbit. That's the ego's crown. Once victimhood becomes personal, identity is secured. There is a self to defend, a history to preserve, a narrative to protect. And with that comes an endless demand: recognition. That's why stories multiply. 8 million stories in the naked city, each one certain of its uniqueness, each one convinced it deserves the floor. No one ever volunteers the lesser story. No one ever says theirs doesn't matter. Storytelling becomes competitive because identity is at stake. If one story is heard, another must be told. If one wound is named, another must be deeper. Not because people are lying, but because story itself requires hierarchy. Hierarchy requires victims. This is also why the monsters are never present. They're always off-screen, always narrated, always safely absent. If they were present, the story would have to be verified. Verification would collapse the narrative. Two sides to every story is an admission that what's being offered is incomplete, yet belief is still requested, and belief is given instantly, because the ego recognizes its own language. Every story is personal. It has to be. Impersonal truth doesn't need witnesses. Personal stories do.
They require agreement. They require loyalty. They require time. That loyalty is the bondage. The hum exposes this without confrontation. You don't debate a hum. You don't refute it. You don't correct it. You either tune to it, or you try to smash the machine. Smashing the machine is just another way of saying the world should obey your story. But when resistance dissolves, something becomes obvious. The hum was never the enemy. It was the constant.
It kept rhythm when identity was tired. It stabilized orientation when narrative failed. It ran without asking permission because permission had already been given long ago to listen. That's why it gets through music. That's why it cuts through television. That's why it registers even in sleep. There is something listening that never sleeps. Not the body, not the personality, not the thinker. Orientation. That's why the statement doesn't function as affirmation. I am not the victim of the world I see isn't comfort. It's calibration. It doesn't soothe the personal self. It removes it. And once that happens, the distinction becomes clear. There is only one victim, and it isn't you. Not because you were spared, not because your story was lighter, but because victimhood itself was never real. What falls away isn't pain. It's authorship misplaced. And when authorship returns to its source, the world doesn't need to change. The noise doesn't stop. The hum keeps running. But no one is arguing with it anymore.